just say a few words about Sister Ruth. My mentor, Mike Crosby, put his lifelong work into trying to bring a heart to corporate America. He wanted them to recognize the impact their practices had on people and the planet. He always entered into dialogue with companies on the basis of mutual respect and assumed good intent. In doing so, they were able to listen to him. Now, I have the privilege today to present the 2020 Mike Crosby Award to my friend and colleague, Sister Ruth Geraets, of the Presentation Sisters of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Aberdeen, South Dakota. I think of no better example of Mike's patience and persistence in this work. Now, the reason why Dan passed in presenting this award is because he wanted me to repeat a story about Sister Ruth that I've told many times. So excuse me if you've heard it already. The company was C.H. Robinson, a transport logistics company that in Minnesota. Ruth was engaging them on climate change, and she read her climate change proposal resolution at one of their virtual AGMs. Now, she was nervous with the technology, but she did a great job. An hour after the meeting, she received a call from the general counsel and corporate secretary of the company, who said she did a fine job because he knew she was a bit nervous. He then mentioned that his own mother was on the virtual conference because she too was a shareholder of the company. She actually, following the AGM, called her son immediately and told the corporate secretary that she heard the good sister make a presentation on climate change and what she wanted the company to do. And she said, I don't know about the other shareholders, but I'm voting with the sister. So I thought that was such a warm, heart-warm story that talks about the fact that we're dealing with corporate people, you know, reading off their talking points, but in the end, they're human beings. And so that personal touch is what changes people. One last story on Sister Ruth, and I'll give her the floor. Now, I don't recall the company name of this one, but the topic was deforestation. And Sister Ruth and Sister Kathleen were very nice to this particular manager that we were speaking to. It's exceedingly nice, complimenting him for everything that they did. But in fact, we didn't hold their feet to the fire. We didn't ask the tough questions. So after I got off the phone, I was a little frustrated, but then I received a call from a young 20-something analyst from Ceres, our partner organization, who was also on that call. And he said, Frank, your members are too nice. We didn't raise all the difficult questions. These guys now think they're good, and they're really not. So as I was listening to Noah, I heard myself and my own voice in the back of my head. You see, I was echoing the same kind of frustration, but listening to him voice that, I started to realize something. And I said to Noah that he noticed that the corporate managers started to agree to some things that we never got them to agree to. They got out of their corner and came to the middle of the room because Sister Ruth invited him to there. And so we both learned something that day. Sister Ruth, you're leaving our board. You're leaving our work, and you're passing off your duties to others in your community. So this is a bittersweet time that I get to offer and have the honor of presenting you this award. I can tell you, Brother Mike is smiling today. Sister, I give it to you.
Okay, thank you, Frank. My heart's overflowing with deep gratitude, and I'm both honored and humbled to accept the Michael Crosby Award on behalf of my ministry with the Presentation Sisters. Our congregation first became involved with putting our ministry and investment funds, investing that in a just way. And our sisters were in contact with Father Mike Crosby in 2003, and they attended a RIMCRE meeting at that time. So let me tell you how I first met Father Michael Crosby. I was in St. Louis in 1999 attending the Institute of Religious Formation program there at the university. And Father Mike was the speaker on the Beatitudes. Now, it was a custom for one of the students to take the speaker to the plushy faculty cafe for lunch. And I was the lucky one that got to escort Father Mike Crosby. So we sat down to an hour of visiting. And would you believe that the main topic was socially responsible investing? I had never even heard of it at that time. But in 2007, as an SRI enthusiast by that time, I joined our investment committee in Aberdeen. And with Mike's help, we filed our first resolution from the Presentation Sisters with IBM. Those were the days of healthcare reform. And so we were talking to them about what kind of health care they had for their people. Both Mike and Frank Sherman were my mentors and inspiration for taking the lead in filing with and dialoguing with 15 companies and co-leading several other companies. Now I was going to share my story at the annual board meeting, but of course Frank took that away from me. But anyway, yes, I knew the mother of the general counsel there. She and her husband were wonderful parishioners of Nativity Parish, and always at the front of justice issues when I was pastoral minister there. So indeed, I knew that she would have voted for our proposal. So as I complete my time with SGI, of course, social justice issues will never be far from my heart, but the world keeps getting more complex, even though it's smaller through communication. And so in closing, I guess I want to express my gratitude to seventh generation, President Dan Trito, the board, my mentors, Frank and Mike, Father Mike, to our congregation, including our leadership and committee members, Sister Kathleen Byrne and Patty Peets, and our consultant, Steve Zielinski, who has helped us with many issues. Each of you who are committed to justice, and above all, I thank our God who kept my feet on the ground when I was filled with anxiety about approaching deadlines and conferences. Thank you all, and God bless.